I want to bring in former Senator Jim DeMint, who is now an active part, officially, formally, and every other way of this Convention of States Article 5 movement that I've been advancing for many, many years. Jim DeMint, sir, how are you, my friend?
Mark, I'm great, and you're the one that got me started on this, and I just got back from Raleigh, North Carolina, where they'll be voting tomorrow, hopefully to become the 13th original colony supporting this COS Convention of the States idea, which I'm convinced, as sure as you are, that the only way to stop the federal government from bankrupting our country and in continuing to infringe on our rights is for the states to step up and take the constitutional responsibility that they were given to stop the federal government. So I'm excited to be a part of it.
And that's the point, isn't it? The federal government empowers the state legislatures to do this, correct?
Well, not the federal government, our founders.
The federal Constitution, I mean.
The Constitution empowers them, and as you helped me see, when I first heard of this, people said, "Hey, it's a free-for-all constitutional convention to rewrite our Constitution." Article 5 says this is an amendments convention that the states can call, and we're doing that, and we're at 12 now. Hopefully tomorrow, North Carolina will become the 13th state. And I hope all the citizens that are listening tonight in North Carolina will call their representatives, because we have a real chance to stop what's happening in Washington.
And Jim DeMint, if we get to 20 or 22 or 24, I've been saying, I'm convinced, then we'll get their attention. Don't you think?
I think 15 or 16, if we can, there's going to be a tipping point real soon. And that's when the real war begins, because the left is already getting engaged with this issue. The last thing they want is anyone to decentralize power, because that's how they control our lives. I think if California, Illinois, New York understood what we were talking about, they would be the first in line to support a convention of the states, because they want to do their own thing, and South Carolina and North Carolina want to do their own thing, and that's the way to keep a united country with a very diverse population.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think there's such oddball opposition to this, even among pseudo-conservatives and so forth?
Well, there's this myth that we are going to have a runaway convention and rewrite our Constitution. And it's something that, I'd heard, I hadn't paid a lot of attention to, but we know we've got a runaway Congress. We know we've got runaway courts. We know that the federal government is running all over states. The last thing that's going to happen is 38 states ratify an amendment that takes away our rights. The most secure thing we can do right now, Mark, is let the states step up and begin to oversee the federal government. It was always intended to be that way, and it's long past time that we have a convention to rein in the power of the federal government.
And there are now a lot of people who are endorsing this at relatively high levels, don't you think? I mean, more people than you would than you might otherwise expect. I mean, you got Mike Huckabee, you've got all kinds of people, right?
Well,
you and Tom Coburn, of
smart
course.
People like Bobby Jindal, who's been a governor. You've got constitutional experts like Robbie George and yourself. And I think what we're going to see is in the next few months, particularly the next legislative session, is more states are going to come on board, and then more people are going to pay attention to this and realize that the only way to stop Washington from bankrupting our country is for the states to do what our founders intended. So I'm excited to be a part of it, along with Senator Tom Coburn and a great team. It was so much fun to be in North Carolina with grassroots activists from all over the state, so many volunteers who believe in our country and our Constitution, and they're just hoping that North Carolina will be the next state to step up and say that enough's enough.
I like the way you put it at the beginning of the show. These will be the original 13 colonies of our time. Yeah,
they will. They will.
Yeah.
And I think we'll look back at this and say and realize that this is what saved our country. And Mark, I've been in the House and the Senate. I've been fighting in Washington as much as anybody to stop the spending and the craziness. And I can tell you with certainty that it's no longer structurally possible for Washington to stop spending and balance the budget. if the states don't do it, we're going to end up with some kind of economic meltdown. And it doesn't make any sense when the Constitution just lays it out for us of what we need to do. And so I'm excited to be working with one of the best teams I've ever been a part of, and I'm glad you're a part of that as well.
Well, I'm thrilled you are, and with you and Coburn and Meckler and Farris and all, that is a hell of a leadership team. Jim DeMint, thank you. God bless you, my friend.
Thank you, Mark.
All right. So North Carolina, you got a job. You got to call your state representatives as soon as you can. Leave polite messages and tell them this is a deciding issue for you.
Sign the petition at cosaction.com and get as many of your friends and family to do the same. With your full address, your state legislators will know that you really are their constituents in their district. Our success depends on you, so we're inviting you to be part of history. Let's invoke the constitutional solution that's as big as the problem.